Well, we're all loaded up and ready to go. Our starting point, once again, is the Bike Stop Cafe here in St. Charles. And on Saturday, they will pick me up in Clinton. A little lunch before we hit the trail. This is one of those factor meals that I put in here in my 12-volt Hot Logic. And in the 2.5-hour trip from home over here, it just got nice and hot. So, what a great way to start the trip. All righty, here we go. It's 12:15 on Tuesday. I'm all loaded up, filled up with that factor meal. Everything is looking great. This is the beginning of the solo Katy trail west from St. Charles to Clinton. Here we go. I'm back on the Katy trail. But this time I'm doing it solo. And I'm going from east to west instead of west to east. So it will be a different vibe to it. I'll see things that I really didn't see on the first trip. But the most exciting part about it is that I'm going to do it solo. I'm excited. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. But anyway, I'll be checking in from time to time. Today my plan is, because I didn't get started until a little after lunch, my plan is to go about 40 miles to Marthasville. Gary and I stayed there last time, and it was really nice, and so I thought I'd do it again on this trip. Maybe staying in several of the same places just because of the logistics of being able to charge. But, you know, either way, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a whole new experience. So, westward. Okay, here I am at the first battery change. I went 20 miles and I have 22% of my battery left. And it's about 38 miles to where I'm going. So I need to be able to get 18 miles off of the second battery. But everything is working great. You can see how dusty it is, but there wasn't any dust at all in the electronics box up here on the top. So we're, like I said, about halfway to Marthasville, and back on the trail we go. First thing I did when I got in Marthasville was go over to the little bar and have a big old bowl of chili and a grilled cheese sandwich. Oh, was that good. But now what I want to do is take a couple of minutes and show you my setup, okay? So, all right, let's start with the trailer. This is the same trailer that I used when Gary and I went. However, since that trip, I took some of the things that we learned from it and I modified this trailer. I took the cover off of it and put some square tubing in there so that I could mount these boxes. And look at the dust. I am so glad that I did that. Look at that. It's terrible. We're supposed to get a little rain tonight. Maybe that'll, quiet that dust down for tomorrow. But these boxes really did a good job. As you can see, I mounted them directly to those square tubes, and it has lightened it and made it to where everything is secure, waterproof, dustproof, and even if I wanted to, I could lock it, which makes this a lot better. Now, I have one more box that I use, and I call it the electronics box, and it sits right on top. You can see I've got everything charging here. One of the things that Gary and I were adamant about that we really needed was an extension cord, because if it starts, say, storming tonight, that wind would blow in and get all over our electronics. So with this cord, we can get away from any of the wet that you would have. Okay, so next let's take a look at the cot tent. It's made by Nightcat, and it truly makes this extremely nice. As you can see, you're up off the ground well, and because the temperature has dropped and the wind's picked up here, I went ahead and put the cover on, which will, really help. This trip, I've got my heated pad, my 50-degree quilt, just my little blanket, and an inflatable pillow, and a little travel pillow. Now, that sounds like a lot, but that lets me sleep really well. I'm excited about this heated pad. That is going to work out great. I brought my R300 solar generator with me. I'm not charging it using the solar because I don't need to. As you can see, I've got it plugged in right here, and there is actually more juice coming in than is going out for the heated pad. So even if the temp drops down to the low 40s, which it is forecasted to do, I'm gonna hopefully be toasty warm, and I will let you know. The other reason for bringing the solar generator is that since I'm by myself and there's always a chance of having an issue, Gary and I talked about it, and we came to the conclusion it'd be a good idea to bring this along. It is a 299 watt hour generator. So what that means is I can get about a 35% charge on one of my batteries, which is good for somewhere around 4 to 5 miles. So in case of an emergency, I run out of battery and I'm, out where I don't have any place to charge, that gives me an additional 4 or 5 miles to get somewhere where I can charge. It just kind of makes it handy. Plus I'll be able to charge my watch and my phone and any other electronics that, I may need to charge. So anyway, that is kind of a look at how I'm set up, and I am looking forward to getting a good night's sleep. Alrighty, we're gonna call it a night. We've got a big day tomorrow, 76-mile ride. So we're gonna set the alarm for early and get up and hit the trail. See you in the morning.